Today, across the United States, millions of Americans are hearing words they never expected. Social Security 2025 will not be the same. For decades, seniors, families, and workers have lived with the fear that the system they paid into their entire lives might one day fail them. But this year, for the first time in a generation, sweeping changes have been confirmed. Changes that could redefine retirement, reshape monthly budgets, and alter the very meaning of financial security in America. The announcement has been described as historic, even monumental. New payment structures, revised indexation, and what officials are calling bonus checks are now part of the Social Security conversation. For millions, this could mean relief. For others, it raises more questions than answers. And for Washington, it may represent one of the most politically explosive moves of the decade. To understand the weight of this moment, we need to look back. Social Security was created in 1935, in the depths of the Great Depression, as a promise, a social contract between generations. You work, you contribute, and when the time comes, society ensures you do not face old age with nothing. For decades, it provided stability. But as costs of living soared, as medicine, housing, and food became more expensive, that promise began to feel fragile. By 2024, the average Social Security benefit stood around $1,915 a month, barely enough to cover rent in many American cities. Seniors on fixed incomes told stories of splitting pills to stretch prescriptions, skipping meals to afford heating bills, and choosing between groceries and gas for the car. In town halls from Ohio to Arizona, one phrase was heard again and again: Social Security doesn't go far enough. Lawmakers knew pressure was building. Reports from the Social Security trustees warned that without reform, the system faced insolvency within the next decade. Advocacy groups demanded urgent action. And behind closed doors in Washington, negotiations began. Then, in late summer of 2025, a breakthrough. Officials confirmed that a new package of changes, years in the making, had been finalized. The headline measures include a recalculation of annual cost of living adjustments, a pilot program of so-called bonus checks, and targeted increases for the lowest income retirees. Here's what that means in practical terms. Starting in January 2025, Social Security recipients are expected to see an indexation increase of roughly 3.2%. That's not just a number. It translates to an additional $60 a month for the average retiree. For someone receiving $1,915, that's about $1,975 each month. It may not sound like much, but for a widow in Florida who lives on $23,000 a year, that $60 can mean fresh produce instead of canned goods, or the ability to keep the air conditioner running during a dangerous heat wave. But it doesn't stop there. For the first time, a system of one-time bonus checks is being rolled out. Officials describe them as an effort to cushion retirees against sudden spikes in costs, especially in medicine and energy. While amounts may vary, reports suggest that some seniors could receive a check of up to $450 in 2025, with the first distribution slated for late spring. A veteran in Texas might use it to cover a month's worth of heart medication. A grandmother in Michigan could finally afford to replace her broken washing machine. Supporters of the reforms are calling this a lifeline. This is about dignity, one senator remarked. No American who worked a lifetime should fear outliving their savings. Advocacy groups have praised the changes, noting that for nearly 12 million seniors living near or below the poverty line, every additional dollar carries life-changing significance. Yet critics warn the story is more complicated. Some economists argue the increases, while welcome, may not keep pace with inflation. If food prices rise by 5%, while Social Security grows only 3%, retirees could still fall behind. Fiscal conservatives also point to the strain on federal finances. With Social Security already consuming nearly $1 trillion a year, they question how long these new promises can be sustained. It's a short-term fix, critics say, but the long-term crisis is still looming. For seniors, the debate in Washington is almost secondary to the reality at home. Consider James, a retired steelworker in Pennsylvania. His monthly check is $1,800. Rent takes $1,000. Medicare premiums, $170. That leaves him $630 for food, gas, and everything else. An extra $60 from indexation and a $450 bonus check won't solve everything, but it might mean he doesn't need to skip his annual eye exam. Or look at Maria, a retired teacher in California. Her Social Security covers most expenses, but every month she struggles with the cost of her husband's insulin. A one-time bonus check could mean breathing room, at least for a while. The ripple effects extend far beyond individual households. Economists say increased Social Security payments could inject billions of dollars into local economies, especially in small towns where seniors make up a large share of consumers. More money spent on groceries, pharmacy visits, and local shops could help stabilize fragile communities. Yet, uncertainty remains. Will these changes continue beyond 2025, or are they a temporary reprieve? How will they be funded in the long term? And what does this mean for younger workers who are still decades away from retirement but paying into the system today? The stakes could not be higher. Social Security is not just a program, it is the backbone of American retirement. Any adjustment, no matter how small, affects tens of millions of lives. And in 2025, with inflation still a concern, housing affordability at crisis levels, and health costs climbing, the decisions made in Washington are being felt with unusual intensity in kitchens, pharmacies, and checkout lines across the country. Still, amid the uncertainty, there is a sense of cautious hope. For the first time in years, seniors are not just hearing warnings of cuts and insolvency. They are hearing about increases, protection, and a recognition of their struggles. After years of doubt, many are calling this moment a turning point. As one retiree in Ohio put it simply, "It may not solve everything, but it feels like someone finally listened." And perhaps that is the deeper story here. Beyond numbers, beyond checks and indexation, this is about trust. Trust that a promise made nearly 90 years ago will still hold true in the 21st century. Trust that after a lifetime of work, Americans will not be forgotten. The changes to Social Security in 2025 will not erase every hardship, and they will not end the debate over its future. But they may restore, at least for a while, a measure of stability. And in a time of rising uncertainty, that stability may be the most valuable gift of all. The story is still unfolding. The amounts could shift, timelines may be adjusted, and future reforms are almost certain. But today, one truth is clear. Social Security has entered a new chapter. And for millions of Americans counting every dollar, that chapter begins now. If you want to stay ahead of every Social Security update, payment change, and benefit increase, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the bell, so you never miss the news that could impact your retirement and your family's future.